dear net aspirants and my dear friends, welcome back to our channel High Point once again. And today we are going to learn about mystery, miracle, morality, plays, and interludes of Age of Revival. Okay, so far we have learned and we have seen many information, many things related to Age of Revival. So we all know that drama in the Age of Revival was in the form of mystery, miracle, morality, plays, and also interludes. So about that we are going to see in this video. So yeah, I have given a detailed discussion and detailed audio lecture in my website www.highpoint.in about Age of Revival, as well as all the things related to Age of Revival, the major authors individually I have given there, and also about mystery, miracle, morality, plays, and interludes I have given a separate section there. You can go and check using the website id www.highpoint.in, that is given in the description box. And if you check the description box, you can see a link to join a WhatsApp group in which I will be sharing daily quizzes and many more notes related to English language and literature there, and you can participate and you can have that notes for free of course. And if you want any help from me for your UGC net and JRF, you want to know what you have to study, where you have to study, and what way you have to study, where you can find the material, where you can have how you can organize your study for UGC net English, then you can obviously contact me in the given number that is there in the screen now. So, and also you can mail me or you can call me in that number, you can WhatsApp me in that number. So you can do whatever you want, and you can contact me and I'll be very glad to help you. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, and also you can have a look at it. You can go and visit my website www.highpoint.in. Okay, check the description box. You can find links to join the WhatsApp group. If you want, you can join. Now let's begin the today's video: mystery, miracle, morality, plays, and interludes of Age of Revival. Now let's see. First, let's see mystery plays. Mystery plays. Mystery plays. What is mystery plays? We all know this. This is it's a common knowledge. Like mystery plays dramatized stories from the Bible, such as the fall of Lucifer, Cain and Abel, Noah and flood, the nativity and the passion of Christ. So the stories that we usually find in Bible, those stories are dramatized or demonstrated on the stage, and they are known as mystery plays. Simple as it is. Okay. So it is very simple. Mystery plays are stories from Bible, such as fall of Lucifer, Cain and Abel, Noah and the flood, the nativity and the passion of Christ. And it is usually written in cycles. Cycles means there will be a lot of plays. It won't be one play alone, but it will be cycles. There will be intervals between one cycle and the other. So there will be cycles. Mystery plays will be written in cycles, and traditionally performed on Corpus Christi Day, or they famously known as Corpus Christi plays. So usually since it is related to Bible and the stories that we could see in Bible, so traditionally it is performed in association with Christian celebrations such as Corpus Christi Day. Corpus Christi Day. So it is the mystery plays are also known as Corpus Christi plays. So do remember that alternative name for mystery plays as Corpus Christi plays. Examples for mystery plays are the Wakefield cycle of plays written during 14th and 15th century. So the Wakefield cycle of plays are one of the major important examples for the mystery plays, and it was written during 15th and 14th century. Now let's see some of the major mystery plays commonly asked during the exam of UGC NET English. So I have seen these names in the question paper, previous question paper when I was checking. So Second Shepherd's Play. Second Shepherd's Play. It's a mystery play, and it was written in the late 15th century. Okay, late 15th century means what? It is only Age of Revival only, right? It was written in the late 15th century, and it is part of the Wakefield Mystery Cycle play. So Wakefield Cycle of plays, it is the major mystery play, and the Second Shepherd's Play is part of Wakefield Mystery Cycle play. And the title of the play refers not to a second shepherd, but to the fact that this play was the second to the plays that dealt with the biblical nativity story. So the title, we have a word known as word second. Okay, second shepherd's play doesn't mean that it is a play of a second shepherd, but the word second denotes that this play was the second of the two plays that dealt with the biblical nativity story. So that is the word second denotes here in the title. Okay, second shepherd's play doesn't mean that it tells the story of a second shepherd, but the word second in the title denotes that this play was the second of the two plays that dealt with the biblical nativity story. So this is the second play. So among the two plays, it is the second play. So in denoting that, the word second is used. Okay. Moving on, the play begins with the conversation between three shepherds. So the second shepherd's play begins with the conversation between three shepherds called Jip and Dov. So these are the three shepherds as they watch over their sheep. So they were watching over their sheep, and the call Gib and Do is there, and they were talking in between. And they complain about the problems such as the weather and their poverty. So usually we all are doing that. We will complain about the weather, and we will talk about the general poverty and struggles that we have in our lives. So they were also doing the same. And while they were talking, another character, Mac, arrives and he pretends to be a messenger from a southern lord. So what happens? Another character, while these three shepherds they were talking and they were watching over their sheep, another character known as Mac, M-A-K, Mac arrives, and Mac pretends that he is a messenger from a southern lord. But he was not a trustworthy person, and they suspected him. So Mac was suspected by these three shepherds, and they recognized him, and they also suspected that he plans to steal their sheep. Maybe they suspected that these three shepherds, they suspected that Mac arrived to them in order to steal their sheep. As the shepherds settle down for a night on the moors, Mac exploits their slumber to make off with a prize sheep. So what happens? Actually they had too much wine, and also these shepherds they soon they fall asleep and they were resting. So Mac exploits their situation, their slumber, their tired slumber. He actually tries to steal one of their huge prized sheep. Mac and his wife devise a plan to pretend the sheep as their newborn baby by putting it in a cradle. So what was their plan? Mac and his wife was there also. So Mac and his wife they devised a plan to pretend that the sheep will be wrapped and kept it in the cradle, and they will pretend that the sheep is their newborn baby. So nobody they won't look at it. Okay. So that was their plan. When the shepherds find out that their sheep is missing, uh, they went to Mac, and he was brought to justice with mercy. So what happened? So soon they will they will see that that one of their sheep is missing. So they suspected Mac, and they went after Mac, and they find out that Mac and his wife they devised a plan to steal their sheep, and he was brought to justice with mercy. So after this, an angel arrives before the three shepherds. The angel arrives, and here the angel calls to the shepherds, telling them to find the child born in Bethlehem. So this was the good news, right? So in the Bible, we can see that the angel appears before three shepherds and asks them to that angel asks them to go and find the child born in go and visit the child born in Bethlehem for the whole humankind. So that same message was delivered to these three shepherds by an angel, and they went and met with the infant Christ. So the dual plot is designed to determine the audience of the twofold nature of man's existence, the real world on earth and the spiritual world of the afterlife. So in the Bible, we cannot see this two plot or dual plot of three shepherds. So the angel arrives and tells the good news to them, and they go and meet the infant Christ. That is happening in the Bible, but the dual plot is designed to remind the audience, the people, those who are watching it, about the twofold nature of man's existence, the real world on earth and the spiritual world of the afterlife. So that is the story of the mystery play, the second shepherd's play. Now let's move on to miracle plays. So that's all about mystery plays. Now we have miracle plays. So what is miracle plays? Miracle plays were representations of lives of different saints. So mystery plays, they are stories from, they enact stories from Bible. While in miracle plays, they will enact various events happened in the life of different saints. Okay, saintly holy persons. They especially reenacted miraculous interventions by the saints. So that people will pray to the saints and holy persons, and some miraculous interventions will be happening after that. Such miraculous interventions will be reenacted as miracle plays. So that such kind of plays are known as miracle plays. So basically, miracles done by saints that were enacted in miracle plays. So that's why it is known as miracle plays. So examples of miracle plays are the conversation of Saint Paul, Mary Magdalene, and the play of the sacrament. So these are the major miracle plays. The first one is the conversation of Saint Paul. It's a Middle English miracle play of the late 15th century. So it is written in Middle English. Okay, it is a Middle English miracle play of the late 15th century. The dominant motive is conversation, which explores through the biblical character Saul. So the um, main motive here they have used here is conversation, and through conversation they explores the story of the biblical character Saul. Okay. The stanzaic form of the play is very regular rhyme royal. So we can see the stanzaic form of the play is the regular rhyme royal. So rhyme royal is invented by Geoffrey Chaucer. Remember that Geoffrey Chaucer belongs to the very before play. So very before age of Chaucer, that comes just before uh, the age of revival. The next miracle play is the play of the sacrament. The play of the sacrament, that this is the only host miracle play to survive in English. So please remember this particular thing related, this particular piece of idea related to the play of the sacrament. The play of the sacrament is a miracle play. Do remember that from the title you cannot assume, if you don't know the play of the sacrament, you may find it as, you may assume that it is something related to Bible, or you may end up assuming that this is a mystery play. So it is not a mystery play. The play of the sacrament is a miracle play, and this is the only host miracle play to survive in English. Do remember that point too. And it is written in the East Midland dialect. So the play of the sacrament is written in East Midland dialect of Middle English, written not long after 1461. So it is written after the year 1461 in the dialect known as East Midland dialect, which was also chosen by Chaucer to write his work. So remember that East Midland dialect. So in East Midland dialect, the play of the sacrament is written. And it tells the story of miracle in which a rich Jewish merchant and his companions purchase the consecrated host from a Christian merchant, and subject it to a series of tests in order to determine the truth of the Christian claim that Christ is present in it. So basically, the Christians, they will get a host. They will, in church, while when they go, if they are pure at heart, they can have the host there, consecrated one, and it is considered to be very pure and very sacred, and they will have it there. And in this story we can see, in this play, that we can see a story of a miracle in which a rich Jewish merchant and his companions, they purchased a consecrated host from a Christian merchant. Okay. And why they want that host from a Christian merchant? Because they wanted to do a series of tests in order to determine the truth of the Christian claim that Christ is present in. They want to know whether Christ is present in that host. In order to have a test over it, they brought it from the Christian merchant. In the end, the Jew converted. So the after all that doing all these tests, they came to understand that they came to the conclusion that see Christ is present in that host. So in the end, Jew converted. The Jew merchant converted and promised to tell his story to others. Okay, so it is a miracle happening there, but because they knew that miraculously the host contains the presence of Christ in it. So that made them to convert into Christianity, and they promised to tell the stories, their experience and their story to others. So that is the story of the play of sacrament. Now, now let's see morality plays. So, morality plays, they evolved from the medieval sermon, conveyed a moral truth or lesson using allegorical terms. So, it is basically they will convey some moral lessons, moral truth, mostly related to Christian religion and Christian way of living. So, morality plays evolved from the medieval sermons. So they will use allegorical terms, the names of the character, the actions they are doing, all things happening, and their names will be representing something else that is there in the real world. So such terms, allegorical terms, they will use their events. The story itself will be allegorically represented something else, some other truth or some other facts that is there in the life, and they personified moral qualities or abstractions. So, moral qualities and abstractions like love, honesty, and many other qualities, moral qualities and abstractions were personified. So, there will be a person known as honesty. There will be a person known as charity in the novel Pilgrim's Progress by Bunyan, which came out in the age of Restoration. You can see n number of moral qualities, abstractions, and immoral, things or all the actions and everything, the places the character visit, everything is personified there, everything is allegorically represented. So such a representation or personified representation of moral qualities and abstractions can be seen in morality plays as well. So morality plays belong to the age of revival, please do remember that. And they are dramatized the allegories of the life of man, his temptation and sinning, his quest for salvation, and his confrontation by death. So they are dramatized, mainly they allegorically dramatized the life of a man. So, his name, the man's name, his temptation, sinning, his quest after sinning, he will be searching for salvation, and his confrontation by death, and his salvation, and he is presented before the God. So, such kind of allegorical representation will be there in morality plays. The purpose of the play was didactic. So, we all know, if since it is going to convey the moral truth or a lesson, then its purpose must be didactic, and it will be kind of instructional kind of place. So didactic, like, you will give an out overview, or you will you know get an instruction about the application of Christian ideals or Christian ideas to the everyday life and the cultivation of character, how you can develop a good character according to the Christian values, and how you can apply the Christian ideas to your everyday life. So didactic or instruction related to such things you will get from morality play. So that is the major purpose, to give such instructions about a Christian moral life and Christian moral lessons. That is the major purpose of plays such as morality plays. The earliest complete extant morality play is the Castle of Perseverance. So, which one is the complete extant, first complete extant morality play? It is none other than the Castle of Perseverance, which was written around 1425. So, the Castle of Perseverance is was written around 1425. And another morality play is Everyman. Everyman is written around 1500, and it is perhaps the best known morality play. So while the Castle of Perseverance is the first extant morality play, Everyman is the best known morality play, which was written around 1500. Now let's see some details related to the Castle of Perseverance. So, Castle of Perseverance is a morality play which belongs to the 15th century, and the play contains 3000 and 649 lines. So this is comparatively a long play. If we see the other plays belongs to the age. The play describes the whole ontology of man, starting before his birth and ending after his death. So it actually describes the whole story or the events happening in a man's life and his judgment before the throne of God. So the story starts with a man's birth and it ends ends with his judgment before the throne of God. The protagonist is humanum genus or man. So the protagonist is given the name man or humanum genus. And mankind's traditional three enemies are there. The three enemies of mankind are the world, the flesh, and the devil. So these are the three major traditional enemies. Mankind's traditional three enemies are in the castle of Perseverance, we can see as the world, the flesh, and the devil. So, they are speaking in between. So, these three enemies of humankind, they are speaking the world, the flesh, and the devil, they are speaking from his own scaffold, introducing his followers, the seven deadly sins. So, they are speaking between from their own scaffolds, and they also introduce their followers the seven deadly sins, and they accompany together. They comes to the stage and accompanied each other. They come to the stage. And the world points out his chief hunchman, greed. So the world says that so greed is the major deadly sin that will actually man will possess more. Man will always have greed to possess more money, possess more food, possess more everything. So world actually the world is the character here. Okay, world points out his chief hunchman as greed, and flesh is accompanied by sloth. So these are the seven deadly sins. Okay, greed. Flesh is accompanied by sloth. So flesh, sloth, these are characters here. So that's why I said allegorically, it will allegorically, everyone will be allegorically represented, and every abstract ideas and everything will be allegorically personified here. So greed appears. Then flesh is accompanied by sloth. Then gluttony and lechery appear together. Then the devil together with pride appear. Then wrath and envy appear together. So, what happens after this? We can see that mankind is born. Mankind is the character. Mankind is the protagonist, and mankind is born. And what happens? He asks for God's grace as he is ignorant and helpless. So, since he is just born, he asks for God's grace, and he is ignorant and helpless. That's why he asks for God's grace. And what happens? So, since asked for God's grace, God introduced two companions for him, the good angel and the bad angel. Okay, so he got two companions, the good angel and the bad angel. A comical debate between the two angels follows after that. So, after this, we can see a comical debate between the two angels, the good and the bad. Mankind indulges in the worldly pleasure. So what happens? So afterwards, mankind began to grow, and he sees the world and he knows the pleasures of the world. So what happens? Mankind indulges in worldly, many worldly pleasures. And but later he repents. So after a certain point of time, he repents and enters the castle of perseverance. So what happens? He repents. Mankind repents after a period of time, indulging in worldly, materialistic pleasures, and later, to have a salvation, to have repentance, he enters the castle of perseverance. The seven deadly sins try to siege the castle. All of them failed, but avarice succeeded in bringing back the old mankind to worldly goods. So what happens? So as he was trying to enter the castle of perseverance, the seven deadly sins, they tried to siege the castle and hold the old mankind, but everyone else failed. But avarice alone succeeds in bringing back the old humankind, old mankind to worldly, materialistic goods and pleasures. And but he was interrupted by death. So what happened? So old man, he went back to worldly pleasures again, but he was interrupted by death. Death is also a character here, okay? And he was interrupted by death, and he realized that all the wealth will go. So after his death, he realized, mankind realized that he cannot fetch any of the gold, any of the wealth that he gathered when he was living to the other world. So he realized that every other wealth will go to some other's hands, so he cannot have it. So when death interrupted him, then only he came to know that. While dying, he cried for mercy, and later from hell he was removed by the daughters of God. They are truth, justice, peace, and mercy. So, truth, justice, peace, and mercy, these are the daughters of God. So, while he was dying, he cried for the mercy of God. And later in the play, we can see that later he was removed from hell by the help of, with the help of daughters of God. And daughters of God are truth, justice, peace, and mercy. So that is the story of the Castle of Perseverance. The next morality play is Every Man a Morality. So Every Man a Morality play. So Every Man a Morality play is the most popular and best known morality play. Every Man a Morality play. So we can see the composition happened in the last 15th century. So Every Man was written, composed the last years of the 15th century or decades of 15th century. So it's a short play. So Every Man is a very short play, only contains 900 lines, 900 lines, and it portrays a complacent everyman. So here we can see the character everyman. So that is everyman is the protagonist. It portrays a complacent everyman who is informed by death of his approaching end. So death is again a character. So everyman gets an information from death that his end is approaching, his life is going to end. And it is based on a Dutch morality play of the same time. So Every Man is based on a Dutch morality play of the same time of the 15th century. The play centers on every man's plea for companionship on his journey to his grave. So he got an information from death that he is going to, his life is going to end. His imminent end is approaching, and every man please everybody that who is going to combine, who is going to give a companionship on his journey to his grave, but nobody will give that. We all know that everyone has to come out of the womb alone and has to go to their graves alone. So the play centers, the main theme of Every Man a Morality plays is on every man's play for companionship on his journey to his grave, and he realizes that he only can back upon his moral and religious values. So nobody is going to accompany him. So he realizes after many persuasions and pleas, he realizes that the only thing that is going to accompany him is that on his own moral and religious values. Nothing else is going to accompany him to his grave. So he realized that after making many pleas to many people, nobody is going to accompany him. Only his moral and religious values are going to accompany him to his grave. And it is an allegory of life. So, like in any other morality play, we can see that it is an allegory of life in which the only thing that will save every man from damnation is God's deeds alone. So, so it is an allegory of life. So like any other morality play, we can see allegorical representation and personification of abstractions and qualities here. Morality, qualities, and events happening, everything is allegorically represented. So it's an allegory of life. It tells, you know, the story of every man. So every man's fate is that. What is the every man's fate? What is the truth of every man's life? One day, every man or everybody is going to die. Nobody is going to accompany you to your grave. Only your moral values and religious values are going to accompany you to your grave. So that is the allegorical theme throughout presented in this play, Every Man a Morality Play. So here it conveys the message that the only thing that will save every man from damnation is good deeds alone, good activities, good moral life, religious values that everybody should keep in their life. Everybody should practice in their life, because that will only save every man or everybody from damnation in this life. So that purpose, that message is allegorical, that message about life is allegorically presented in this play, Every Man, morality play, Every Man. Now Skeleton's Magnificence. Magnificence is also a morality play. So this is the first extended political morality play. First extended morality play is The Castle of Perseverance. The best non-morality plays everyone, and first extended political morality play is Magnificence, and it is written by John Skelton, and it is composed of 2,500 lines. So we can see Magnificence contains around 2,500 lines. The play is printed around 1530. Okay, so the play was printed around 1530, towards the end of the Age of Revival. And the play shows how magnificence is deceived by vices but finally redeemed by good hope and perseverance. See, good hope and perseverance, these are characters, and magnificence is also a character. So the play shows how, like any other morality play, how magnificence is devised and he got deviated because from his holy path, how he got deviated from that path by the vices, by all these worldly pleasures, and how he lost his, how magnificence lost his focus while he was living, and finally how he redeemed everything, redeemed the holy life by good hope and perseverance. And it is a veiled attack on Cardinal Wolsey. Okay, so Skeleton is actually making a veiled means indirect. So Skeleton is making a veiled or indirect attack on Cardinal Wolsey through this morality play, Magnificence. So do remember the Perseverance, the Castle of Perseverance, Everyman, and the Magnificence as the major morality plays of the Age of Revival. Now let's see interlude. So we have seen morality, miracle, and mystery plays, and another type of plays were also there. They were interludes. So interludes denotes a short play or playlet. Playlet means a very short play. Won't be having any. It won't have any length. Okay, length of a full-fledged morality play or miracle play or mystery plays. It will be very short, like like a skit, we can say. So it denotes a short play or a playlet actually performed between the course of a cycle of plays. So in mystery plays there will be cycles of plays. So in between the cycles there will be interludes, there will be gaps, and there will be intervals. So during that intervals between the cycle of plays, the actors will come and they will play interludes in order to entertain the audience, so that the audience may not feel any boredom while the actors were changing, while the stage settings are changing, and also in that way interludes were presented. It can be applied to a variety of short entertainment, including secular farces and witty dialogues with their religious and political points. So here it may not be religious. So interludes may not be religious. So we can see that here they will have entertainment about they will present some secular kind of, not non-religious, social kind of what we say themes we can see in interludes. Witty dialogues will be there with the religious and political point. Witty dialogues will be there. So these are some of the qualities and some of the features of interludes. Maybe in between the morality or mystery cycle of plays, such entertainment, such secular farces and witty dialogues will be there, which will be not necessarily religious but political or social, can also be there. And it was developed out of the morality play, and the two cannot always be distinguished. So interludes usually developed out of morality plays, and morality plays and interludes usually in those times it cannot be always be distinguished. John Haywood is popular writer of interludes in the Age of Revival. So, in the Age of Revival, when we hear about interludes, we have to remember John Haywood. John Haywood is a popular writer of interludes in the Age of Revival. Okay, so do remember about interludes, the small points about interludes. So that's all about mystery, miracle, and morality cycle of plays and interludes of the Age of Revival. You can also visit my website www.highpoint.in to have a very elaborate notes related to Age of Revival and the drama of Age of Revival. So, if you have any doubts, queries, questions, and suggestions, and if you want me to make any other contents related to UGC NET English Language and Literature, you can comment that in the comment section, and also I'll be waiting for your comments and suggestions. That will really make me happy, and that will give me an encouragement to make such videos again and again. And also you can join the WhatsApp group. I have given the link in the description box. Click the link if you want and join the WhatsApp group to have daily quizzes and notes related to UGC Net English language and literature. And go and visit my website www.highpoint.in and check on what you have to learn to achieve and to have a systematic study towards UGC Net JRF English language and literature. So I wish all the best for you, and thank you for listening to my video. Let's meet in the next video, and that's all for now. Bye bye. Thank you.